Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review episode number 213. This I'm viewing the 213th episode of the series, True Identity. This one adapts from from chapter 45, where basically this one adapts the pages from that chapter in this episode. The pages I skipped up from last week were pages 20 through 29. Yes, those 10 pages that were skipped from last week, they included here. And they went through the entirety of chapter 46. Now, what they did with now, the thing is, basically, they had, continuing from last week, we had the transmission, basically, starting the fight between Kachikojin and Jagen. Now, the way they integrated those pages skipped over last week is that the transmission briefly cut off so I can chat for a bit. Now, I should point out, though, in the manga, when they had this conversation, Armando's got his glasses on. And also, Sasuke's in the scene. Now, this is something that basically that the anime didn't fix. Because we have Sasuke Uchiha in the scene, and there's no explanation of when the heck he showed up. Yeah, in the episode, just like in the manga, he showed up completely random. Or pretty much we have Kachikojin do a bit of a recap of stuff we've already know, and that's happened in the series. Well, in the case of where the Okatsuki, I mean, it was the people who Kagura's people part of. Here's the thing, it was suspected they were aliens. And according to Armando, yeah, they're definitely aliens. So basically, he confirms something that was hinted at in the original series. Well, mostly this was hinted at in the original anime. Well, the original Naruto Shippuden stuff. Yeah, basically it confirms that Jagen is basically Isshin Osakia. Which is interesting, given the fact that this guy was never brought up in Naruto at all. Nope, never was. Yeah, Kaguya was basically like a last minute thing. It's explained here that Kaguya did come to Earth with this guy, and then she stabbed him in the back by turning on him and basically leaving him for dead. And it does explain that Jagen was actually an ordinary human, and then of course Jagen took over his body. And according to Kachikojin, there is no way particularly to remove the karma from Boruto's body. The only way to him to stop becoming Momoshiki is to kill Boruto, which Boruto, of course, Naruto would never agree to kill his only son. Despite the fact this is not his only child, but he would not kill his only son. And, of course, during the course of this conversation, Armando was basically, well, his assignment is granted, but the paperwork has to wait till later. And, of course, like, for Armando, like, verbal agreement is good, but until the paperwork's in my hand, the bottom of Shikadai's neck will remain. And, of course, Shikamaru is rightfully upset by that. Now, I do appreciate, though, that for Sasuke's dialogue for this whole episode is straight from the manga. No really major change with it. Not really, no. But they didn't really add much of anything, except they actually have the only really kind of, let's say, major change they made to this episode was that Naruto says basically out loud, instead of the manga where he basically is in his thoughts. Here in the anime, it's like, oh, like, wait, that fight sounds familiar. Because Kachikojin is using a fight style from somebody he actually knows, which they probably reveal this next week. And of course, they brawl for quite a while. More chakra rods thrown out. The area they're in turns to a drained swamp, which temporarily holds, well, Jagen's Isshin. And of course, Mondo reveals that Jagen's body is not exactly completely compatible with, well, the guy who's host to. Now, the way his karma, how he got his karma, is actually different from how Boruto got his. You see, the actual physical body of Isshin is in the body of Jagen. He enters his body through his ear. Yes, his ear, absorbing nutrients basically from his power, and thus basically becoming the actual power he actually is. And it mentions, oh yeah, about the sealing, like a ritual seal, and of course he's basically engulfed in flames. And I'm always like, yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to kill an Akatsuki. So I think was that. Yeah, that was simply it. I at least got a hand to the fact this episode basically is a bit of an exposition, but I get a little bit of action here. But not really much major change, except the only major change they did here was that the page that skipped over from last week, they integrated this episode, was that they had the transmission get cut off because the battle between Joggin and Kashikojin. Yeah, the Scout Fraud, his transmission is briefly cut so he can give this dialogue that he was actually supposed to give last week. Probably cut due to time constraints. That's my personal guess, anyways. But yes, an excellent episode. Definitely looking forward to the next episode, which comes out next week. And hopefully, I actually will record it Sunday instead of recording it for next day. Hopefully, that will happen. Yeah, but not much to say about it. Great episode. Can't wait for next week. Okay, so that's it for Sick of You. Oh, before I continue, isn't it strange though? The past couple episodes, this episode doesn't have Sadara in it. I'm sure my friend Edgar is basically watching like, wait, where the heck is Sadara? She's not in the chapter. That's the reason why she's not here. I mean, everybody else who basically appears in this episode appeared in the manga. So there's technically no character who appears in this episode who basically, in a way, who does not appear in the actual chapters for this episode. Yeah. Though, I kind of wish they would explain how the heck when in the world did Sasuke get there? Because, oh look, it's Sasuke! Who's here by complete randomness. Yep. So yeah, that's it for Particular View. Now, tomorrow I'm hopefully get a chance to do One Piece, add a few comic corners, okay? Next video. Bye.